And we're rolling. So we're back here with the one and only Doug Shepard, and we went from his comedy influences and comedy gigs, and we're going to go back into the younger Doug in SoCal. This is Southern California, where he was really into bodybuilding, which he brought up, and weightlifting. So we know that Arnold Schwarzenegger made a big thing, and a lot of wrestlers, Lex Luger and Ultimate Warrior, they all started out as bodybuilders and big-time weightlifter competitors. So what got you into bodybuilding and weightlifting, and can you give us some stories taking us back to Southern California in those years of bodybuilding and weightlifting, man?
Yeah. Well, I remember riding my skateboard to school, being, 156 pounds wet, soaking wet, 6'2", with a mohawk, and one of those little skateboards, and people in a car throwing an apple at me, smacked me right in the back, knocked me off my board, and I remember getting up, and my bones were sticking out of my, not that I broke my bones, but I was so skinny, my arms, you could see the bones in the back, and I'm going, I need to do something with this. And then I saw Schwarzenegger. Well, the first time I saw, my dad was really big, but he didn't have to work out. He was a football player at Pomona High School. But the first time I saw bodybuilders was, believe it or not, the Pirates of Penzance. These guys were huge, And then I saw Schwarzenegger, and going, oh my gosh, And then of course Lou Ferrigno and the Incredible Hulk.
You still got some guns on you, man. Look at this. I mean, you're still working out.
I'm trying.
Like.
But so that's what inspired me. And then there's a guy named Dennis at school that was really big, and I looked up to him. And so he lifted weights, and of course, the McGuires, were all big, Mark and JJ and those guys. And so JJ went to the same high school I did, so we worked out together. And slowly, I ate everything. I mean, I would eat my parents out of house and home with the food bill. And I started gaining weight. I remember the summer between 1985 and 86, I had a growth spurt. So I went from 156 to 201, and that was a lot of weight. So when I came back to school, my junior year, people were like, are you on steroids? I didn't even know what steroids were, to tell you the truth. I mean, I was doing this with potatoes and bananas and just eating a ton of food,
Yeah. So, the pretty healthy diet to get to that point, That's great. And any competitions that you entered and all that stuff?
Yeah, I started competing in 1992, and I did the California Natural. I got 4th place in that one in the men's open, and Mike O'Hearn was there, and he won the whole show. Mike O'Hearn is he's a well-known trainer and bodybuilder in Venice Beach, and I think he even trains Arnold's son. So I started competing then. The next year I did a little better, and then I took some time off just to grow, and then I started doing curling competitions, strict curl at Venice Beach, and I did pretty good at that, and deadlifts, I wasn't too big into squatting. It's hard when you're tall, but that's a cop-out. But deadlifts seemed to come easier for me, so I did some competitions in deadlifting and curling, and then I took 3rd in the Venice Beach 2001 Venice Beach July 4th contest.
And today is July 4th.
And they're having a contest, down there. That was 2001, so that was fun. And the previous year I took 6 out of 9 in the July 4th contest, so they do that every year. But
Did you ever go to Venice Beach for the famous area that they work out in, all that, right?
Yeah, we'd work out there for fun, and people would be taking pictures, and Franco Columbo and Arnold and all those guys work out there.
Nice. Great, man. You're still in great shape.
Thanks.
Amazing. I could see, and everybody could see. You still got the physique and the body. So let's move into all the great shows you saw in SoCal. You were a big punk rocker.
Yes.
The Germs, Circle Jerks, Black Flag, X.
Yeah.
What were some of these groups that inspired you in the music world, and a lot of shows you went to? You also mentioned Devo and Oingo Boingo.
Oh yeah, I've seen Devo 3 times, Oingo Boingo several times, and I mean, they're always fun.
What got you into that type of music? I mean, we know that they had the 80s hair metal thing going on down there, and then they had New Wave was big back in the 80s too, with all the new wave bands. But what was it about punk rock in general that spoke to you in a ways of sorts?
It was, I was so curious about what these people were about. Downtown Claremont, these punk rockers in the early 80s.
And he was sporting the mohawk. There's pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I saw a mohawk, I went into Walters. It was downtown Claremont. It was a restaurant. And there's this group of punk, and I was scared of them, I was a skinny kid, scared of them, and they had a flag. He had a flag on each spike from each country.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like staring at it, but I don't want to stare. And these girls, they would have the heavy eyeliner, like Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah.
They would look like that, and I'm going, what are these people about? I mean, they're so interesting looking. And I think that's what led me to it. And I remember I kind of went up to a couple of them, and they kind of like, yeah, we kind of stand for this. We're not big on corporations and all what's going on with the world and stuff like that. And I remember they would smoke cloves, and I'm like, I went into this place where they got cloves. I go, well, what do they buy? So it was like, oh gosh, but I like the smell of them, the clothes. But yeah, they would all kind of hang out at the park, and I'm like, what are these people about, So when were you like infatuated, like what are these people doing?
I was more into the metal and the rock thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't really exposed to punk rock, and except later on with crossover bands like DRI and Gnostic Front. That got me more into punk because of the metal punk crossover thing. But and some shows that you saw down there, I mean, it must have been amazing, right?
Yes. Yeah, I saw some. I mean, it was amazing. Of course, I wasn't even in the early. I got in at the end of '82. And by then punk was kind of, it kind of had a phase, but the late 70s in LA, that would have been the time. And so I have a couple of friends that were into that. They saw it Darby. They, Hudley Flipside of Flipside magazine down there out of Whittier. She's my friend. And she started, Alan Hudd of Flipside magazine back in 1977.
Wow.
And I mean, the Gills, the Germs, it was like 5 cents for a copy of Flipside or something, or 50 cents. And it's like,
boy, the days of fanzines before the internet.
Right.
It was more special, back then, for sure.
And they would advertise for shirts, and you would do
probably tape traders, when they were trading bootleg tapes of demos and say at bootleg shows and stuff. I mean, it was a special time. I know even when I lived in Florida, it was just truly the underground. There isn't really anything like that since now the internet. You can read everything 2 seconds after it's already happened, if not sooner. So
right.
We'll move on to he did some personal security for Joel Schumacher, and he was on the Paramount lot. How did this come about for you to become a personal security and to make that your job,
I met Joel through Sam Shad. He was another director, and Joel was, looking for some security and stuff, and I got lucky enough to meet him, and we hit it off. He's a real nice guy. Of course, falling down, which only
yeah, he's a great director. If you don't know, I mean, The Client, 8mm, The Lost Boys. I mean, the list goes on and on. Joel Schumacher. Rest in peace. He's a good man, right? I mean, he was seemed like he treated everyone really well and with respect. And
we were the same height too.
Yeah.
It was wild. But yeah, he was looking for security and stuff, and that's what I wanted to do is kind of be a bodyguard and do that.
Yeah.
Too. And I did for a while. You know, it was fun.
Cool, man. Well, that's quite a life, man. I mean, when you live in Southern California, as they say, it seems like a lot of opportunities open up. And even though you weren't doing the comedy thing, you were definitely inspired by the comedy. How about the Comedy Store? Did you ever get to see anybody at that place on the Sunset Strip?
Oh my gosh, I had a gal that I knew that did comedy.
Yeah.
Her name was Andrea, and she did some stuff there at the Comedy Store, and I hear it's haunted. And there's people that can verify that place is really haunted, the Comedy Store, you know.
Okay, yeah, this is still on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood.
And on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
People won't go down in the basement. Yeah, it's weird.
Cool, man. That's quite a life, man. I mean, so he's like you said, he's in his comedy career now.
Just started.
And you can catch a clip on Entertainment Getaway TV from last night's performance, and he's probably got other stuff online from Redding and Hayward and Vegas, but you can catch him at a comedy club near you. And like I said, punk rock enthusiast, went to all the shows inspired by punk rock.
Long Beach,
yeah, bodybuilding. It's quite a life already, man, for sure. And you know, we'll catch up with you and you know, see where this comedy thing's going to lead you, man.
Yes.
And appreciate your time. Once again, Doug Shepard here, Southern California to Redding, right now in the Bay Area, July 4th, 2026. Yes. And yeah, thank you for being on the show. And
I love your interviews.
Thank you, brother.
So many.
Yeah.
Michael Bean, you know, I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Many more to come. Hopefully we're going to make it to the Hollywood show and get some more this year and among other places. So thanks again, Doug.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.